Welcome to our next episode of the Kavanaugh saga. We have our next contestant, Senator Jeff Flake of the great state of the late Senators McCain, the state of Arizona. It might have been easy for Jeff Flake as a departing senator to do the right thing. However, he voted partisan and secured the future of women as second-class citizens for the next 50 years. I thought his no vote on Kavanaugh would give him a great advantage in a presidential race. However, it is clear his political career is over in the pro-woman era. Senator Flake is leaving the Senate, and his seat is up for election in 2018 in a mildly Republican-leaning state at the bottom of the screen. We need senators to support and endorse the equality of men and women and stop enabling unequal treatment in the courts. We need change in the Senate seat now. So let's get to it. Let's recap Flake's judicial accomplishments. He is anti-liberal and anti-future generations. On Gorsuch, he thought he should not be confirmed unless Hillary won in 2016 because Gorsuch would be better than any Hillary nominee. It does not get more partisan than that. It does not get more anti-woman than that. He made the mistake of voting for the nuclear option and the catastrophic mistake of voting for Kavanaugh. I thought he might vote against Kavanaugh because he said there will always be doubt, and momentarily gave Dr. Ford credit, but not for very long. Senator Flake gets an F for setting up SCOTUS for the next generations. The 2012 U.S. Senate election results has a delta of 68,000 votes between the Democrat and the Republican candidates. The Libertarian candidate affected the results since he received 102,000 votes. Unfortunately, in 2018, a Green Party candidate could cause the Republican to win by sheer luck, again by pulling votes from the Democratic candidate. Marsha McSally is a baby boomer as opposed to Kirsten, who is a Gen Xer. As we have seen with Susan Collins, a Republican baby boomer who is a woman is likely to vote for Kavanaugh, and Martha may have voted no differently than Flake or Collins. Kirsten was a Green Party candidate in the past, so perhaps the Green Party will find Kirsten acceptable and help women gain parity in Congress and the courts. Remember, Republican candidates who distanced themselves from Trump in the last election cycle, like Senator Cruz or Graham, are now begging for his support. There is no reason to believe Martha would not be in the same boat. Martha is not pro-woman, and here is an excellent example of Trumpism. What about fill in the blank? A distraction to look elsewhere. She appeared on national television in 2012. The war on women happens in countries where religious beliefs have kept women as second-class citizens, and she characterized it as a war on women versus the thinly veiled anti-Muslim rant it really was. She does not care to examine the women issues in the United States, where she is supposed to represent American women, but instead makes a plea for women in the streets of Kabul and Riyadh. Martha is free to run for elective office abroad or in Muslim countries to improve the status of women there. But justifying doing nothing to advance women's parity in a free country because of countries who lag the Western world is over-the-top hypocrisy. This quote is a great piece of evidence she would vote like Susan Collins for Kavanaugh and disrespect the women of this country. In presidential years, the turnout has been high, in the upper to mid-70s, and the Republican presidential candidate nearly always wins. However, in the off-year elections, there has been a downward trend, dropping off to less than 50% turnout in 2014. The highest turnout was in 2008, when McCain from Arizona, ran against Obama in Obama's second term. McCain won Arizona by 200,000 votes. In the 2008 race, the highest Democratic vote numbers came from Maricopa, Pima, Pinal, and Yavapai counties. Cities like Phoenix, Tucson, Florence, and Prescott are the main cities to focus on for Democratic turnout. These counties reached up to 84% voter turnout, but we need to increase that in order to make progress in Arizona. The second highest turnout in the state was in 2004 with Bush v. Kerry, a race between two white men. And one of the lowest was in 2014 with 47% turnout. In the 2014 election, there was a governor's race, and the Republican won by 178,000 votes. This means that if the same voters turn out in 2018, for a Democrat to prevail, we need to find another 178,000 votes to break even. Where can you find 178,000 votes? Maricopa County. This county needs to have nearly 100% voter turnout. Otherwise, no change can be made until 6 years later when this seat is up for election again. And many negative things can happen in 6 years, like the Kavanaugh vote. This is a population pyramid for Arizona in 2010. The male Gen X population is greater in number than the male baby boomers. Each of the male millennial slices are also greater than any other generation. However, the youngest millennial slice is not of voting age yet. The 10 to 14-year-old slice are now 18 to 24-year-olds in 2018. And the 5 to 9-year-old slice are now 13 to 17-year-olds and cannot vote. Therefore, there are about 712,000 millennials of voting age to approximately 770,000 baby boomers. This should be the last election where the baby boomers outnumber millennials. But the voter registration of millennials needs to rival that of the baby boomers to make a difference. On a woman's side, the red slice is on the right side of the graph. The baby boomers and Gen X populations are about equal in number. Therefore, a high turnout combined of Gen X and millennial women should overcome the baby boomers. Arizona has aggressive voter purges. They send mail to check for return mail, and after 2 general elections of inactivity, folks are removed from the rolls. You can verify your voter registration status online if you have been purged. Feel free to help other voters get to the polls. Arizona has strict ID requirements. A valid Arizona driver's license is best. If you have an ID from list number 1, that is all you need. Otherwise, you need 2 from list number 2, showing both your name and address with no photo. List 3 are photo IDs that may not have an address. If an item from list 3 is used, then an item from list 2 is needed. Notice that a voter registration card is not enough by itself since it is in list number 2. What is the election game day plan? For Arizona, encourage turnout in 2018. Never vote alone. Load up the car when going to vote. Doing this can really double to quadruple the vote. Please send this video to all your friends in Arizona. On November 6th, remember Colin's speech about Kavanaugh and those who supported her, like Jeff Flake. The voters in Maricopa and Pima counties are very important. Get all your friends and all the high schools in Phoenix and Tucson to vote on November 6th.